So hey guys, today we are back with another DnD video, and finally we are going back to DnD 5e. So as you can see from today's topic, we are going to talk about is the Yuan-ti Pureblood race broken. So for your reference, we are going to look at the race itself and to see what's going on. Why is this a discussion topic? So for your reference, there are two races, both are Yuan-ti, but there is actually an older version from Volo Guides to Monsters, which is called the Yuan-ti Pureblood. And this race is probably one of the most discussed race, aside from maybe variants, human, and custom lineage, because of how good it is. So why is it good? Let's go in and look at the features to see what are people talking about. So the Yuan-ti Pureblood has a charisma score of +2, and the intelligence score of +1. So this is a mediocre ability score spread because of the intelligence probably not being useful, but per the Tasha's rules, you can actually swap these to whatever you want. So you will still want to keep charisma, but you're probably going to get constitution or dexterity depending on your class. And no worries, today I'm going to talk about what class and what synergy it has with the other builds. So I'm going to move on to it later. So a notable thing is that it is a humanoid. And as I remembered, there are races that are not humanoid. For example, the other, and I'm not going to discuss today, but there are other creature types like Fae and I think Monstrosity. So for some reason, Yuan-ti Pureblood is not one of these, which makes it less overpowered. So as for today's discussion, what constitutes to the discussion of overpowered or broken? We are talking about not how good the race itself is, but we are talking about how good the race is in comparison to others. So there's a perfect comparison today with the updated version. So we're going to start with the just kind of standard dark vision. This is not really anything special, but having dark vision means you have a advantage in darkness or dark areas. So that is always good to have. So for your innate spell casting, as you can see here, you get the poison spray cantrip, and per the description, because this is the PHB 2.4, but anyway, you get some poison damage options, which is okay, it's fine. Animal friendship being cast for unlimited number of times, as you can see here, is a little bit better, I guess, but because animal friendship is such a niche ability, as you can see here, you're basically just talking to animals. So it's fine, it's okay. And you can only target snakes anyway because of the flavor of being a Yuan-ti Pureblood race. And by the way, this is what the Volo Guide to Monster usually does. The source usually go for flavor over power balancing. So you can see why some of the upcoming features are going to be really powerful. So here you get suggestion. So suggestion is always going to be powerful. For those who are not aware of what suggestion does, basically you get to use an action and your enemy has to make a wisdom saving throw, and they will be asked to do something for up to 8 hours. So I'm not going to dwell too much into what suggestion does, but it is a very good spell for level 2, arguably one of the strongest. And you can do this for free per day once, so that is always good. Now here is the problematic feature. You get magic resistance, which means you get saving throw against spells and other magical effects. So the reason this is so revered is because number one, magic resistance means you are pretty much resistance against half of the things in DnD. DnD is a magical world, and the strongest things comes from magic. So as a result, having saving throw against spells with advantage is going to be a huge perk for a race feature. Now, other magical effects is strong because it is ambiguous. So magical effects is not really well defined, but you can imagine stuff like being like a magical slumber, for example, being magically poisoned. There are so many ways, and just with the word magic or the possibility of it being magical can trigger the magic resistance of the Yuan-ti Pureblood. And just for your reference, when it is updated in newer version, you can see here you just have advantage on saving throw against spells. The other part is removed. This is still going to be strong, but it is not as unbalanced as the Follows Guide version because of how many effects requires magical effects. So this is what I believe to make up like 70% of why the Yuan-ti Pureblood is so good. But there's one more reason, and this is actually underrated. I don't see many people talking about it, but this is poison immunity. So you're immune to poison damage and the poisoned condition. So for those who do not know, the poison condition allows you to have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. This is the same in 2.0 version and 1.4 version. But immune to poison is actually insane. So the reason for it is because, number one, poison damage is very common in this world, in the world of DnD. And number two, this is actually a feature. And let me show you this very quickly. Of the land druid here, land druid. And we go to level 10 feature. It's going to go down a little bit here. And you can see you are immune to poison and disease. So of course, you are not immune to disease for the Yuan-ti Pureblood, okay? But this is basically a level 10, half of a level 10 ability. And you're getting it as a level 1 Yuan-ti Pureblood. This is pretty insane. And to use this and to really abuse this somehow is to go for spell synergy. So I do have some tips for you today as to how to leverage the power of poison immunity. So we can go to the spell called Cloud Kill, which is a level 5 conjuration spell, as you can see here. So what it does is basically the fog surrounds an area which is heavily obscured. And then when you are inside the spell area, you must make a Constitution saving throw, or you get 5d8 poison damage, or half as much. So usually this spell is pretty difficult to use. So for reference, Cloud Kill, you can't really stand inside the cloud, and you have to stand outside to position it. So your enemies may walk away, which is why the fog moves 10 feet away from you to somehow make it move. But because now you have the Yuan-ti Pureblood immunity to poison damage, that means you can pretty much just stand inside the Cloud Kill. And the enemies either has to, as you can see here, they either has to walk inside the Cloud Kill, and to get poison damage, or they have to stay outside to attack you with disadvantage because of heavily obscured, or they have to just do nothing. And because the fog moves away from you, and you are standing in the middle of this Cloud Kill, that means you can move it any way you want. So this massively improves the Cloud Kill spell because you can use it in a different way. And this all comes from a level 1, again, a level 1 race feature. That is insane. For reference, all the other race at level 1 may not have something that can compare to this. And this is in combination with magic resistance, and as I said, great defense and great synergy with spells. So moving on to the synergy to Cloud Kill, if you want to further improve your build with Yuan-ti Pureblood and try out what I just said, you can actually go for the blind fighting ability. The reason for this is because for Cloud Kill, you can see here heavily obscured. So what does it do? Heavily obscured stays the same. Basically, there's a lot of text here, but you cannot see. You just cannot see inside. You are suffering from the blinded condition. With blind fighting, you don't really need the normal sights. You have blind sights. So as long as it is not behind total cover, even when you're blinded or in darkness, you will be able to see normally. What does that mean? That means that when you're inside the Cloud Kill, as a Yuan-ti Pureblood, you will be able to see your enemies while they cannot. That gives you a huge advantage in terms of what you can do inside the Cloud Kill, including casting spells that require sight, including attacking with advantage if you are using weapons or melee attack spells, etc. So how can we build this? I'm going to show you 2 classes that can make this happen. and we are going for a level 12 build. So I'm gonna record down here what we just talked about. So now you are a level 12 build. Okay, let's zoom in to see level 12, and you are playing a multi-class. So we're gonna start with a sorcerer, 10 levels, and a paladin for 2 levels. The reason for this is because at level 2 for paladin you get blind fighting, and for the sorcerer at level 9 you get cloud kill. So that's it. So you're a Yuan-ti Pureblood, as we have discussed today, which gives you poison immunity. So that's the build. So having this synergy, the good thing is you doesn't lose any spell slots. So as you can see here, so you will be one step behind for a progression game, but in a one shot this is absolutely fantastic. So we can just look at the race again. These spells, remember, is focusing on your charisma, which is why you want to go for a charisma multi-class. And of course with this multi-class, as you can see here, you are going to get better armor. So just a reminder that you only get medium armor because you are multi-classing with sorcerer first, and you get con save proficiency. So it's not going to be a long video today. This is basically what I want to talk about. So the question is here, is Yuan-ti Pureblood broken? I would say that the answer is, using a bigger yes. And this is because the Yuan-ti Pureblood itself has really fun synergy. Like building this is really fun for me, but I'm very sure that there's no other race aside from variant human that can compare with how much the Yuan-ti Pureblood can do. So just by the synergy here, and just by the fact that these two abilities exist, to the point it has to be rebalanced in a newer version. And you can see how much it changed. So for your reference, you were immune to poison, okay? And for the newer version, you are not immune. As you can see here, you are only resistant to poison damage. Now that is the change in the newer version. And it is obviously planned to be less broken, less abused. So if you're going to play this build, I suggest you to talk to your DM and make sure your friends are okay with it, because this is by all means a really fun and creative build, but it's going to be way too good for most of your friends and you are going to feel unbalanced. But with that said, this is a very straightforward video just talking about the features of the Yuan-ti Pureblood. I hope that this helps you with your character build. I hope that it helps you with your flavor and fun in the game. Just talk with your friends, and I'm going to see you next time.